Death toll from Ibadan Explosion rises to 5 as search for victims continues. Troops rescue 9 abducted victims, arrest 2 suspects in Benue. House of Representatives orders industry and health ministries to refund 85 billion naira COVID-19 intervention funds. And on the foreign scene, 9 children dead after boat capsizes in India. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for joining. And now the news in full. The head of Emergency Operations Center for the Evacuation and Rescue of Victims involved in Tuesday's deadly explosion, which blazed through the Aderola Street in the Bodija area of Ibadan, Temitope Alonge, has assured that his team will continue its search for survivors until all victims were accounted for. The former Chief Medical Director of the University College Hospital Ibadan stated this at the scene of the blast, which has left 5 residents dead and about 77 injured. The report.
The storm is yet to settle, but it's time to pick up what is left of Tuesday's deadly explosion in the Aderinola Street of Bodija in Ibadan, which has left 5 victims dead and about 77 sustaining varying degrees of injuries. Earth-moving equipment have been deployed to the scene to clear the debris and perhaps rescue more victims. The operations emergency team is also on ground to ensure the smooth flow of evacuation. Head of the team and incident manager, Temitope Alonge, gives an update on the explosion.
We have to look for them. So this exercise that we're engaged in with the forensic pathologist is going to take us days. It's not, a sprint. It's going to be a marathon because we want to piece each of the soil and find out if there's any survival. There's nothing as devastating for a family not knowing where the remains of their loved ones are.
Residents who are fortunate to pick what is left of their property are heading to safer locations as the state government had ordered an evacuation due to safety concerns. Other members of the operations center say all hands are on deck towards ensuring that all victims are properly integrated back into the society.
But those people that are badly affected that don't have anywhere to go have been asked to stay in hotels around Ibadan. And apart from their shelter, they are also providing food for them as a temporary measure. So they are there now with all those supports and even psychosocial support too for those that they need to be talked to psychologically because this is devastating.
Unfortunately, we are merging into recovery efforts. It doesn't look like we're going to recover or rescue anybody in the circumstance here, but miracles have happened, and we keep an open mind that we may still get some people, who may still be alive, but it's getting to a recovery effort, and that's why, as he rightly indicated, I am on the scene.
The state governor, Seyi Makinde, who has been paying visits to the victims to encourage them, has assured that perpetrators of the act will definitely face justice.
In the meantime, troops of Operation Rise Struck OPWS in collaboration with the police and other security agencies have rescued 9 kidnapped victims and arrested 2 suspects in Benue State. The Force Commander OPWS Major General Sunday Ebinonwanhia, who disclosed this to newsmen on Thursday in Makurdi, said troops rescued the victims and arrested the suspects during an operation on Tuesday at Wokpa Forest in Obadibo local government area of the state. Ebinonwanhia added that the rescued victims comprised 8 females and a male. He further stated that the operation followed the kidnap of passengers transiting in a commercial bus along Otukpo Enugu Road on January 11th. He added that the victims were later allowed to proceed to their respective destinations after debriefing. Ebinonwanhia said the suspects and all items recovered during the raid had been handed over to the police for further action. The commander thanked residents for providing the information that led to the discovery of the hideout of the criminals and subsequent rescue of the victims. Meanwhile, there was a heated exchange of gunfire on Thursday as police rescued Segun Akinyemi, an Abuja resident who was kidnapped while driving out of his house. The kidnappers were taking Akinyemi from Abuja to Kano State when the police swooped in on them. According to a police public relations officer in Kaduna, ISP Mansour Hassan, the police said the 3 other suspects who escaped are being trailed, adding that the vehicle belonging to the victim, 2 Reta G17 model pistols, 1 Beretta pistol, 10 9mm PAK ammunitions, and 5 9mm special ammunition were recovered from the kidnappers. He said preliminary inquiries revealed that the victim was abducted on January 17, 2024 by the kidnappers just when he was leaving his home. He listed the 3 suspects who escaped as Chidebere Wodibo of Lifecam Abuja, one Awal whose surname is unknown, and the gang leader whose identity is yet to be ascertained. The Commissioner of Police, Kaduna State Command CP Adi Ali, while commending the operatives for the brave feat, tasked them to continuously go after criminal elements in the state. Meanwhile, the management of Al-Qalam University in Katsina has confirmed the abduction of 2 female students of the university on Monday. A publication released by Head of Public Affairs of the university, Akilu Atiku, said parents of the students confirmed the abduction when contacted by the university, explaining, however, that the information regarding the circumstances of the abduction is still scanty because the incident happened outside the university. The statement contained in a special bulletin of the university also said the Vice-Chancellor, Nasuru Musa Yauri, stands with the family of the abducted students as they navigate through this difficult situation. Report of the abduction of the 2 female students has been circulating in social media for a while. The students were abducted on Monday on their way to Katsina State from Niger to resume academic activities at the university. They were among passengers traveling in a commercial vehicle when they were abducted. The family last contacted them while in Zaria. Now, in another development, as part of efforts to complement security agencies in the task of securing Nasarawa State, no fewer than 1,144 Fulani youth have volunteered to serve as nomadic vigilante in the state. The volunteer Fulani youth were inaugurated by the president of Miyete Allah Kawotel Hore, Bello Bodejo, in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in this report as presented from our studio.
Inaugurating members of the nomadic vigilante group, National President of Miyete Allah Kawotel Hore, Bello Bodejo, said the need to form the group has become imperative considering the increasing security challenges in the country. Bodejo, who spoke through the National Secretary of the organization, Alassane Saleh, said the vigilantes are to complement the effort of security agencies in 13 local government areas of the state. He also promised that members of the group will assist in fishing out criminal elements and hand them over to security agencies for necessary action.
This is a clarion call to unity in purpose. Let us forge alliance with relevant security agencies to fish out criminal elements among our communities and reduce the allegation on those who are treated unjustly for crimes not committed as a result of bad acts within us. Together, we shall foster dialogue, build bridges within our communities, and usher in an era of lasting peace and harmony.
According to the president, other areas that the group will assist conventional security agencies include intelligence gathering and surveillance with a view to tackling kidnapping and banditry, among others. The State Commissioner of Police, Umar Nadada, commended the Fulani community for the initiative and advised them to work within the ambit of the law.
They come at a time that is very apt, particularly the security challenges we are facing in the state. We have already intimated all our area commanders and DPOs to work with all the vigilante groups within their areas of jurisdiction with a view to reducing crime and criminality in their various domains. This set of nomadic vigilante will add value to our security architecture in the state.
In attendance of the inauguration were representatives of Nigerian Army and other security agencies.
And now, in a pleasing development, the former chairman of the Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers, Eze Samuel Agunwa Ohere, who was abducted by gunmen, has regained his freedom. Police Public Relations Officer in the state, Henry Okoye, confirmed this to journalists in Owerri on Thursday. Ohiri was abducted from his residence in the Orodo community, Betoli local government area of Imo State, 2 weeks ago. According to the police, the traditional ruler was rescued on hot by operatives of the command's anti-kidnapping unit after a hot duel with the kidnappers in the forest. The police spokesman stated that during the raid, operatives arrested one of the abductors while many others fled the location. The victim was the chairman of the Imo Council of Traditional Rulers under Roches Okorocha, the former governor of the state. And the Enugu state government has arrested 6 persons and confiscated 7 trucks in Obolo for over alleged violation of its mining ban. The arrest followed a visit to the mining site by the special advisor to state governor on energy and soil minerals, Kingsley Naji, and the divisional police officer of Obolo for CSP Ignatius Arta on Thursday. The Enugu state government had on September 15, 2023, prohibited mining in the state, warning that defaulters will be sanctioned. Naji said the government sealed all illegal mining sites a few months ago. After the ban, he said the visit followed a tip-off that illegal activities were still ongoing at some of the sealed sites. The DPO CSP Arta said the police would continue to support the local and state governments in the effort to rid the state of illegal mining. And now on judicial matters, Justice Hamza Mawazu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has granted the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele's request to travel out of the FCT. The court said Emefiele must, however, remain in the country as part of his bail term, which restricted him to remain in the capital, FCT. Emefiele, through his lawyer, Matthew Boka San, had requested a variation of the terms, which the Council of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Rotimi Oyedepo San, did not object. He told the court to ensure that Emefiele wrote an undertaking that he would remain in the country if his plea was granted. The charge against the former governor of the CBN was also amended to 20 from 6. The amended charges against Emefiele now include criminal breach of trust, forgery, conspiracy to commit forgery, procurement fraud, and conspiracy to commit felony. The court had on December 23, 2023 granted Emefiele bail in the sum of 300 million naira with 2 sureties, a like sum. Meanwhile, corrupt practices by 7 politicians have been identified as the major cause of underdevelopment in the nation. This is because funds meant for the execution of people-oriented projects are diverted to private pockets, while the masses are left to suffer untold hardship. In this report, Trust TV's Ajibade Press x-rays the subject matter as it concerns Imo State. Take a look.
There is no doubt that most of the problems being faced by Nigerians today are directly or indirectly connected to the corrupt practices of some political office holders. Most politicians, once appointed, get desperate and want to grab virtually all they can from the government's treasury, all at the detriment of the masses. In Imo State, southeast Nigeria, the story is not different, as some politicians who had the opportunity of serving in Governor Uzodima's administration in the first tenure were caught in the intricate and ignoble web of graft. While some were indicted by investigative panels, others were arrested and detained. A scenario Governor Uzodima described as high level of dishonesty.
If you loot a system, if you sabotage a system, technically or financially, we have selfish interests to the detriment of the collective interest, what do you expect to return? Appointment is a thing of trust. If you betray the man who has trusted you, if you do that which the man who has appointed you will not like, what is more betrayal than that?
Some residents of the state who bear their minds said they are losing faith in the government on a daily basis following the level of corruption being recorded in the system.
Most times it is so appalling and so unprecedented that people that they give opportunity to assume a post would have that platform as maybe a medium to loot the government's money, which is very, very wrong. When
Of the lady Betty Edu, who allegedly misused a huge sum of money, that lady should go to jail. President Buhari, take that lady to jail. Let her go and rot in there. She's a criminal. You know, yeah. So back in Imo, you mentioned one of my brother, the commissioner for lands. Of course, he's my brother. He's my brother. I don't know. I wouldn't want to put it straight. I'm not the governor who sacked him. I'm not the governor who take him to cell and now he's free. But I want to commend the governor for fighting against corruption.
Well, you know, this thing called corruption has a foundational base. It is founded on primitive acquisition of wealth. Most of the people who get these monies, they use it for things that are absolutely unnecessary. A man, you loot government treasury, you go and build a house in London, America, nobody's living in it, and you're paying rate on it, and people are suffering. You use corrupt money to train your children in school. That's why you see many of them, their children are useless. So our governor has used the first 4 years to create what we call a locus standi in law. His 4 years performance has given him the standing to be able to talk about fight against corruption.
Though the governor has dissolved the people who worked with him during the first tenure, and it is expected that new ones will be appointed into the government, the people of the state are hopeful that the next appointment will absolve people of credible character. This they said while alluding to the fact that government must be devoid of corrupt elements if the governed must enjoy dividends of democracy. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
And now circling back to judicial matters, the Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Nafi Bala, against the election of Muhammad Yahya as the governor of Gombe State. A five-member panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Kudrat K. Kere Ekun, dismissed the appeal shortly after the appellants withdrew it. Meanwhile, the Apex Court has adjourned to Friday for judgment in the other appeal filed by Jibrin Bardi of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The panel fixed Friday for judgment shortly after parties adopted and argued their briefs of arguments in the appeal, which expires on Sunday, January 21st. At the hearing, the Apex Court panel confronted counsel for the ADC and Bala's lawyer, Habal Woye, on the incompetence of his client's case and the need not to waste the court's time. Woye subsequently applied to withdraw the appeal, which was not opposed by the respondents and was accordingly dismissed. The Apex Court also reserved judgment in the appeal filed by Ashuru Isa of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Kaduna State against the election of Governor Obasani to a date that will be communicated to all the parties. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, Maiduguri residents lament as property owners increased cost of apartments. Details of that and more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. And here is a recap of some of our top stories. Death toll from Ibadan Explosion rises to 5 as search for victims continues. And troops rescue 9 abducted victims, arrest 2 suspects in Benue. Now to more stories. The Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives has ordered the Ministries of Health and that of Industry, Trade and Investment to refund unutilized funds of 10 billion and 75 billion naira respectively, initially meant to mitigate the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The committee also gave the Rural Electrification Agency 24 hours to provide all necessary documents to back up monies released to it from the COVID-19 intervention funds for medical facilities across the country. Here's the report.
Where the order was given is to ensure that the committee is transparent and accountable in its investigation of over 600 billion naira released as intervention funds to mitigate the effect of COVID-19 on Nigerians. It is also to help the federal government recover unutilized COVID-19 funds released to special ministries during the pandemic to mitigate its effect on Nigerians. The House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee urged the affected government ministries and agencies to refund all monies budgeted as special intervention fund that were not utilized.
Anyone who fails to appear without justifiable reason will leave us with no other option than to resolve the issues in investigation against them. It will be assumed that they do not have any justification for the expenditure of the monies released to them on COVID-19.
The Ministries of Health, Rural Electrification and Industry, Trade and Investment, who were all present, failed to convince the committee on how the funds were utilized.
I had it here. I was actually waiting for us to finish so that I would tell you. I've had it ever since that we have 10 billion.
Madam, you have a submission here. This is your submission.
Yes.
This is your documents.
Yes.
We are a house that deals with documents. We don't. The oral testimony cannot override whatever is not included here. And in the whole of your document, there is nowhere you indicate or indicated that you have a 10 billion naira sitting online somewhere that has not been used. Just a moment. Yeah, you should take responsibility for that. And then
members were, however, not satisfied with the way these funds were utilized, prompting the committee to issue a directive that the funds be returned to government coffers to be channeled towards other pressing needs. The committee chairman therefore ordered the Ministry of Health to refund the 10 billion naira released for the local production of COVID-19 vaccine.
For those who haven't come and haven't sent in any communication to show that they had a justifiable reason for not coming, we will be taking a position that those issues in investigation are resolved against them.
They also ruled that the past and present executive secretaries of the Ministry, Industries, Trade and Investment return the 75 billion naira COVID-19 intervention fund and submit all documents to back up the refund to the committee.
Former permanent secretary and the current permanent secretary are affected by this motion to refund the sum of 75 billion naira back to the federal government as COVID-19 intervention fund, which, as far as we are concerned, has not been expended. So those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
The committee directed the affected ministries and agencies to appear before it on Monday, 22nd of January, 2024.
And now a fire outbreak has destroyed property worth millions of naira at the popular oil Panteka market in Kaduna. According to traders there, the fire, which began around 11 p.m. on Tuesday night, left many traders devastated as they lost their sources of livelihood. Trustee Bisbella Musa completes the report.
Woods and other goods once occupied this place, but they have burnt to ashes after the inferno. Scavengers have taken over the scene.
About 250 shops were destroyed and goods worth millions of naira were lost. People sell woods here and many secure loans to fund their business.
It's a total damage. Fire incident happened around 11:30 p.m. yesterday. The cause of the fire is said to be ascertained, but a committee has been set up to look into what really happened and how we can address it in the near future.
Millions of naira were lost.
According to them, traders are traumatized due to the huge losses they have incurred.
People sell woods here and many secure loans to fund their business. Now everything has been burned to ashes.
Oil Panteka market accommodates thousands of youths who engage in one skill or the other. But this fire incident is, according to them, a major setback.
This is a poverty alleviation market whereby over 30,000 people within the vulnerable age of 15 to 25 are engaged into different skills. And of course, this is a setback economically to those teeming youth.
Although the cause of the fire incident is yet to be ascertained, the traders are, however, appealing for help from government in order to move on with their life. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
And now many Kano residents are devising alternatives to survive the current economic hardship occasioned by rising inflation in the country. Abdulaziz Ibrahim meets sellers of cooked cassava at Ibadan Explosion market who enjoy increased patronage from residents. The report.
The December 2023 Consumer Price Index released by the National Bureau of Statistics put the latest inflation figure in the country at 28.92%. The rising inflation has left many with no option than to find ways of surviving the cost of living crisis in the country. Shaibu Sheikha sells cooked cassava with groundnut powder. He said because it's cheap, many who cannot afford to buy rice or tuwo patronize him because with 50 naira or 100 naira, one can buy rogo. Sincerely, things have changed and life is hard. That's why people settle for cassava, because it is cheap. We sell 100 naira or 50 naira or more, depending on what people can afford. Abdullah Ibrahim sells livestock at Laraba Abasawa market, and he said, unlike rice, 200 naira is enough to buy cooked cassava mixed with groundnut powder to quench hunger. I believe people buy more rogo because things are very difficult. I can buy 100 naira rogo and drink water instead of paying 300 naira or 400 naira for a plate of rice. We call on the government to help us bring down the cost of staple foods like maize and rice, which has forced many people to settle for things like cassava. A cassava dealer in the market, Abdullah Isani, said a bag is sold at between 10,500 naira and 12,500 naira. He explains why people go for it instead of other staple foods like rice and maize, considered too expensive. The reason is hunger. That's why we have more turnover in this rogo market. We sell a bag now for as much as 12,500 naira. People come to buy like 1,000 naira worth of cassava to take to their family because of the high cost of other foods like maize. Residents here want the government to address factors pushing prices of foods higher, thereby making life difficult for the poor.
And now Jigawa State government has empowered 7,000 entrepreneurs and 1,000 persons with disabilities in the state with funds of between 30,000 naira to 100,000 naira to boost businesses and support livelihoods. Governor Omar Namadi promises to maintain the momentum until poverty rise eradicated in Jigawa State. Report.
Governor Umar Namadi reiterates his government's commitment to fighting poverty and improve livelihoods of citizens in the state. He says the government has put in place a check-in mechanism to monitor all the financial supports given to small-scale business owners and other less privileged citizens for better impact on the society with respect to reducing poverty level in the state. These 1,000 people living with disability will smile home with 30,000 naira each to cushion the current economic hardship they face. As for the people living with disability, Governor Umar Namadi ordered for the upward review of the 7,000 naira monthly allowance given to them in the state by the state government to match the current economic realities in the country. He says his government is determined to building a resilient economy in Jigawa State for the overall welfare of the citizens.
Because the people we are considering, they are also sufficient. So, this is a special day and we are proud to be part of this day. We have promised during our campaign that inshallah we will do our best to empower our people and to ensure that we have improved the life of our people. We have put in a lot of programs in our 12-point agenda, and we are implementing the agenda one after the other, and we are conscious of what we are doing.
Director General, Jigawa State Agency for Youth Empowerment and Employment, Dr. Habib Ubale, says this is the first time ever a group of disabled persons will receive a direct financial support from the government in the state, in this large number assuring the beneficiaries of continued support to better their lots.
To have seen and witnessed such an occasion, which is absolutely touching, as you can see,
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Namadi FCA, has introduced numerous and different kind of interventions, support and empowerment to different categories and groups of people. We have done it for youth, we have done it for youth and women as well, we've done it for different kind of people. But today's own is kind of special one because it has already targeted people with a special disability. And these people are truly the vulnerable one among us. And these are the people that most of either the government, the philanthropist people, a lot of people just neglect them.
So far, the state has supported over 8,000 citizens from the 150,000 people intended to be empowered before the end of the year 2024.
A wonderful initiative there by the Jigawa State Governor. Now, Northern Nigerian students are appealing to the government at all levels to subsidize education in order to provide the opportunity for children of common people to have access to quality education that will better their lives. The students made the appeal in Kaduna when they converged on Arewa House to reflect on the legacies of the then Premier of Northern Region, Samedu Bello. The report.
This area house used to be the official residence of Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna Sokoto. The Northern Nigerian students are gathered here to celebrate the legacies of Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello.
So that is why we choose to celebrate their legacies, not to celebrate their own murder or to celebrate their own death, but we want to celebrate their own legacies because the prime time they spent on earth, they did a lot and they did so wonderfully well to make the unity of Nigeria.
The students harp on the need for leaders to emulate Sardauna by giving young people opportunities to excel in politics and governance for the betterment of the country.
The missing link, I think, is because of the lack of improper presentation we have at the helm of the affairs. We know, as we have already discussed, if today Nigeria will adopt something that has to be, when it comes to an electionary period, let's have an independent candidature, so there is no any party system or the likes of it.
One of the areas the late Sardauna recorded a lot of achievement was education, which these students say is in need of urgent attention.
At least if they can be able to see that they subsidize the education, and whether one like it or not today, the educational system, most especially when it comes to universities, are in the verge of being privatized because the kind of increase of tuition fees today in Nigeria is worrisome.
My appeal to them is to be God-fearing, to be hardworking, to be focused, and to be good people of Nigeria.
They also call for the inclusion of more young people in the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And now the Commissioner of Police, Abia Command Kenechukwu Onwu MLA, has apologized for his officers' unprofessional conduct at the Abia Breaking News ABN Television radio studio in Umuahia. The Police Public Relations Officer PPRO SP Maureen Chinaka, in a statement to newsmen, said the CP offered the apology when he visited the studio on Thursday. According to the statement, the CP during the visit conducted an on-the-spot assessment and had discussions with the director. According to Chinaka, the CP apologized for the conduct of the officers and the matter was resolved amicably. Some police personnel from Umuahia Area Command had invaded the studio on Tuesday to carry out an arrest of one Donald Odinsi, who was a guest during a live program. The director of the outfit, Ifeanyi Okali, had alleged that many of its broadcast equipment, including laptops, cameras, and microphones, were damaged by the police personnel during the incident. Meanwhile, the rise in the cases of banditry and other acts of terrorism have continued to worry Nigerians across the country. With the new government at the federal and state levels, Nigerians were hoping for a change. But 7 months after, some residents of Benue State are saying President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to do more to curb insecurity. Jimmy Azandi now reports.
Most residents who spoke to Trust TV expressed fear with the rising cases of banditry, terrorism, and herders' invasion of communities.
Sometimes I feel some of these young people carrying guns have decided to do so as a means of calling attention to them. It is a last resort because you go to farm, you join the farm, and at the end of the day, you take your produce to the market. Huge revenue is generated on this. but you don't see the impact of that in your local community. So you want to do something that the government will see, that, oh, somebody is angry here.
Most importantly, political will is the whole clamors of security. Is the president interested in curbing the crime, the security problem in the country, or is he playing politics with it? That is the most important thing. If the president is not playing politics with it, then we need to see all the service chiefs delivering, and whoever that is not delivering has to be shown a matching order.
Other residents suggested an all-inclusive strategy to curb the menace, including the involvement of veterans from the armed forces.
If the government carry us along, there are things that we will tell the government to do. Because, for example, during the war, I was one of the instructors that trained a strike force in 3 Marine Commando. So I am using this opportunity to tell government that they should carry the air servicemen along so that they will help the security of this. Because all this problem of complaint of insecurity, the right thing is not being done.
And we retirees now will be as informant in everywhere in the country. So whatever is going on there, we know the good egg and bad egg in that area. So we have to. So if we are not included in the security of this country, I think there's no way where the government will succeed.
The government has promised to end insecurity, but while that is awaited, rising cases of attacks and killings are raising more questions than answers from Nigerians. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
The Governor of Borno State, Babagana Umar Zulum, says the state government will partner the Federal Ministry of Youth to change the fortunes of youth in the state. The governor disclosed this when the Minister of State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, visited him at the Borno State Government House in Maiduguri. He noted that more needed to be done to foster peace and unity among youth in the country, and that his government will continue to explore the potentials of youth to bring development to the state.
One of the main objectives of establishing the National Youth Corps is to enhance unity among Nigerians. Unity is very important. We need it at this very important time. Those that couldn't travel across the nook and crannies of the state, of the nation, are still the ones that are causing trouble for all of us. We are yet to exploit the full potentials of establishing the National Youth Service Corps. After so many years of its establishment, we need to do more advocacies, especially to you, the Minister, so that very serious matters that are bringing back our country backward will be reduced or eliminated. Matters of nepotism, ethnicity, religion, sectionalism will be reduced to the barest minimum.
It is time to bring ourselves together and push the nation forward. It is time to tell ourselves the truth that the only thing that can change this country is for one youth to have minimum of 2 skills. A country without skills will die. So what we can do for ourselves and this nation to make it proud of us, because the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has given us leverage, has given us everything that we want. The ball is in our court. And I can tell you, Mr. Governor, the godfather of a lot of young people in this country, including myself, and personally myself, we are not going to disappoint you.
Now, residents of Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, have been reacting to the increase in house rents across the capital city. The city, which is the largest in the northeast, has witnessed a surge in the demand for residential apartments, causing house owners to jack up prices. Trust TV's Bitrukuri has more.
Maiduguri is one of the largest cities in the northeast of Nigeria due to the high influx of people as a result of opportunities and commercial activities. This makes it a place for people to settle and live their dreams. But lately, the town is experiencing an increase in house rents as compared to previous years. Abdullahi Mukhtar has been searching for a single-room apartment which formerly went for 40,000 naira but has now increased to 70,000 naira.
To akwai wanda suke ɗaki ɗaya ne sunan namun 70,000, akwai inda nake kuma room fara suke cewa 120, ni kuma bazan yi biya ka ba.
For the past 1 year, I have been looking for apartment, but I have not seen because of increased cost. They showed me a single room and it goes for 70,000 naira, and I can't afford it because I have only 40,000 naira. Some of them are very old and dilapidated, yet the rent has increased.
120. Yes, sir. No, they want to increase it this year to 150. Maybe we are going to leave the house because it's too expensive. We can't pay it. We can't afford to pay it.
Ya kamata wanda tun da aka gina din da ba yi komai ba bai dace a kara kudi ba.
Some of the houses are very old and you wonder why the rent has still increased, because you will find out that during the rainy season the houses will be leaking.
Gaskiya the rate is too high. Kuma the way the situation is right now, gaskiya people are suffering. You will see at least a room and a parlor. They will tell you 300, 350. How can a person afford that amount to pay for a rent? Some of the houses, they are old houses, which is they have built it like 20 years, 15 years. They will just be increasing money.
A house agent, Kiari Musa, attributed the high cost of rent to the increase in the price of building materials like cement and blocks.
Ruman falo baya wuce naira 50,000, amma wani lokaci yanzu ka je ka samu akan naira 70,000 kaga yayi yawa gaskiya.
If the price of building materials reduce, it will be easy for the common man to pay. But as it stands now, prices for basic accommodation has increased. Another challenge is the fact that you are expected to pay for 1 full year before moving into any apartment. But people prefer to pay for 6 or 3 months, which is pocket friendly.
So I don't know whether they will consider the situation we are to reduce the amount of the rent for at least the masses to get a place of living, because it's not everybody that can afford to build a house or to get a house of his own.
There are worries among residents that the increase in house rent will make life more unbearable in the city. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
You are still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Join us for the 21st Daily Trust Dialogue and presentation of the 2023 African of the Year. This year's theme, Tinubu's Economic Reforms, Gainers and Losers, will be chaired by Dr. Shamsuddin Usman, former Minister of National Planning. Guest speakers, Wale Edun, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Dr. Victoria Akai, Immediate Past Director General, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Comrade Joe Ajero, President, Nigeria Labour Congress. This event takes place at NAF Conference Center and Suites, Kado Expressway, Abuja on Thursday, 25th of January 2024, 10 a.m. Attendance is free, and you can watch the live broadcast on Star Times Channel 164 or Nicomsat free to air. For sponsorship, branding, and participation, please contact 081-5176-4600 or 080-3392-8902. Don't miss this insightful dialogue shaping the economic landscape in Nigeria.
Welcome back, and now let's join Yusuf Akogo for Business News Update.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. Chairman, Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, say about $18 billion, representing 19% of the estimated 20 billion Nigeria diaspora remittances in 2023, did not end up in the country. Speaking in a panel discussion at the 2024 Economic Outlook and Budget Analysis organized by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Oyedele estimated that more than 90% of the remittances were externalized. Also speaking at the event, Director General Budget Office Ben Akaboeze said one of the challenges facing the nation is that of low public revenue against a growing population, adding that Nigeria has had over 3 decades of budget deficit. World Bank had estimated that Nigeria diaspora remittances in 2023 was $20 billion. Nigeria's oil output rose month-on-month by 7.7% to 1.4 million barrels per day in December 2023, from 1.3 million barrels per day recorded in the preceding month of November 2023. On a year-on-year basis, the December output represents 16.7%, an increase from 1.2 million barrels per day in the corresponding period of 2022. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, disclosed this in its monthly oil market report. According to the January 2024 report, Nigeria remains the highest African oil producing and exporting nation, while Equatorial Guinea comes last with only 55,000 barrels per day. Nigeria also has the capacity to produce between 300,000 and 400,000 barrels per day of condensate, light crude that attract higher prices like Bonny Light in the international market. A Port Harcourt-based energy analyst, Dr. Bala Azaka, said the improved oil output raises hope on the execution of Nigeria's 2024 budget that was based on 77.96 barrels per day. The National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has revealed that the pump price of fuel increased by 225.85% to 67 naira 86 kobo per litre in December 2023, up from 206 naira 19 kobo in December 2022. The Statistics Bureau disclosed this in its Premium Motor Spirit price watch for December 2023, stating that the 671 naira 86 kobo price was a 3.53% increase from 648 naira 93 kobo sold in November. According to the Statistics Bureau, petrol sold at highest price in Ogun State at 776 naira 55 kobo, with Taraba, Adamawa, and of course follow closely with pump price of 760 naira and 745 naira 71 kobo respectively. Bola Tinubu had removed fuel subsidy upon assuming office as the country's president. Now to the forex market. Naira falls to 1,350 per dollar in the parallel market from 1,315 per dollar on Wednesday. The local currency also depreciated to 931 per dollar in the Nigerian Foreign Exchange Market (NAFEM). Let's see to equities market continue to beat the winning drum after overtaking Argentina to become the world best performing stock in 2024. The equity market appears to be, tiptoeing around, breaking all the records there to be broken in the market. Of course, the bullish market continues today again, and we're seeing that the investors are interested in buying the likes of Transcorp, Universal Insurance, Veritas Capital. They're all doing so greatly as our market movers for today. 158 if you look at the volume of trade between those companies, that has moved the market to 2.01% gain, a very huge gain. You see, and of course, the market capitalization for the first time hitting 50.278 trillion naira on a single day trading. Impressive performance, you say. Of course, let's look at the top gaining equities that we have for today. Corn oil, a bellwether stock there, gaining 10%, the highest gaining for today. Of course, Entana, after being admitted as one of the company, of course, the major marketer that will be selling Dangote Petroleum, that has pushed the stock up there by also 10%. Of course, John Holt, one of the oldest company quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, also not doing badly. There's 10% it recorded in terms of gains. Of course, they are usually losers when they are, of course, gainers. We have Tantalizer down 10%. Ikeja Hotel on the negative side, 9.79%. Of course, Lasako from the insurance subsector of the market also down 9.71%. These are the highlights of the stock trading as it went down on today, this Thursday, on the floor of the Nigerian stock market. Let's look at the market from the rest of the world. And finally, in business, crude oil price rose on Thursday as the International Energy Agency joined producer group OPEC in forecasting relatively strong growth in global oil demand this year, with price impetus also coming from disruption to U.S. output and geopolitical risk in the Middle East. And in London market, Brent crude sells for $78 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, price dropped to $78 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Now away from Nigeria, at least 10 people, including 9 children, drowned when a boat capsized on Thursday in western India, officials said, with a search to find more of the missing ongoing. The incident happened in Gujarat state as students were traveling to a picnic organized by their school. Dozens of people joined a frantic search for survivors around the lake in Vadodara district, where the boat capsized. The victims include children aged as young as 10, along with one of their teachers, a hospital staffer and a district official involved in rescue operations, neither of whom gave their names, told AFP. The cause of the accident was not immediately clear, but the district official said 27 people were believed to be aboard. Vadodara Municipal Commissioner Dilip Rana confirmed the toll put, but did not provide further information on the victims. Now finally on sports news, Nigeria's Super Eagles on Thursday defeated hosts Cote d'Ivoire 1-0 in their second Group A match of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations AFCON 2023. William Trust Ekon's 55th minute spot kick handed the 3-time champions the invaluable 3 points against their opponents. The match, which was recorded as a must-win for the Eagles, saw coach Jose Peseiro show his best tactical approach as the Eagles thwarted all efforts of the ferocious Ivorians in their home state. The win puts the 2023-2013 winners second in Group A, same point as leaders Equatorial Guinea, but lesser goal advantage. Cote d'Ivoire, on their part, will need to beat Equatorial Guinea in their last group match, while Nigeria will need a draw against bottom-placed Guinea-Bissau to reach the round of 16. Nigeria will take on Guinea-Bissau in their final group stage match on Monday by 6 p.m. Same time, Cote d'Ivoire will battle Equatorial Guinea. And with that sports news update comes the end of Trust News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Omar. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.